Majesty is simply manipulating them to get votes. But what they're saying, what Longhair and the others are saying about the nature of the system in Hong Kong is what's going to stick with them, and they're going to see a government that is increasingly eager to stuff money into the pockets of the wealthy and business people, and increasingly unwilling to spend any money on their future. And that is going to ignite things. I expect real problems later this year or early next year.
Let me ask Christina Chan that. Now, Christina, Michael de Gollier has given a very dire prediction of what Hong Kong may expect down the road.
If we don't change things.
If we don't change things.
That's right.
Now, Christina, you have been at the center of some scuffles with the police, and you have been labeled as a radical. You have been arrested. And now, do you agree with Michael de Gollier that down the road, the so-called younger generation, or the post-80s generation, will get even more violent if things don't change?
I think so. I think right now we're actually not radical at all, and I think my arrest, obviously after you had 10 million people surrounding Leshko against this express railway.
Not 10 million people, 10,000 people.
10,000 people,
right.
Sorry. I think that was, quite a political move, and we normally, when we go out there, we're completely peaceful. We don't really try to clash with the police, and we never ever assault police officers, even if they start assaulting us first. But I do think that the police carries on, the way they do things, just as this week, as last weekend, when they pepper spray people that weren't doing anything, and they would, try to strangle people, push people around, even when they aren't actually, doing anything.
So you're saying that pepper sprayed you because they did it without you actually instigating?
I actually just went up front to see what was happening, and before I even got to the front, they started spraying at people that were walking up the front, and they did, completely hold people down. That, people that are usual that are regular protesters, they will hold them down before they even try to do anything.
But why can't you protest peacefully?
Well, we do. I mean, like I said, sometimes we don't do anything. We're walking along, and they're like, "Look, it's Christina Chan. Hold her down," and they will come hold you down. And if the police becomes
without you doing anything.
Without us doing anything. If the police becomes more and more violent, then of course people will try to defend themselves. And when they put up barricades to stop people from putting a simple ribbon like outside the China liaison office, of course we're going to push a barricade so that we can go there.
Well, what do you want? What's your agenda?
Well, democracy, really.
Is that it?
That is it. I mean, of course, it's a lot more complicated, but, to sum it up in one word, I mean, that
do you agree with Michael here, de Gollier, that there is this disillusioned underclass of people?
Of course, but that's because, we don't have democracy, and so the government is not really interested in the interest of the people, but only in the rich guys that they're backed up by.
Michael de Gollier, democracy is not going to solve rich-poor gaps and things like that.
No, but it does. Whenever you have, we have two kinds of systems, and I'm a political economist, all right? And whenever we talk about the economic system, effectively we've learned that if you want the benefits of capitalism, you also have to tax that somewhat to provide opportunity for people so that they can get at least a foot on the ladder, and to take care of those folks who can't compete in capitalism, the old folks, people who are disabled. And this is the human face of capitalism. And we've learned that if you don't do that, you have serious troubles, okay? I think we've also seen very clearly in other countries, once you get a division of society that is so intense that you have a small number of incredibly wealthy people and a very large number of incredibly poor people.
Is that the ratio in Hong Kong? A very small group of incredibly wealthy people and a large group of poor people?
And increasingly that's the case.
But you don't see that in the streets, though, Michael.
Not yet. But if you look at history and you look at other societies, once you get a Gini coefficient, which is the ratio of this intensely rich to intensely poor in terms of numbers, once you get a Gini coefficient that goes above about 0.5, somewhere between 0.4 to 0.5 and up, you begin to get the situations of unrest in societies. Now, the amazing thing is that Hong Kong is an incredibly peaceful society.
That's correct.
The fact that we're seeing some of these scuffles, which in places like France would be laughed at. It would be
Absolutely.
called
They're
violence,
pretty mild. But do you agree?
They're very mild. But the point is, these are indicators. When you have a very peaceful society that's getting this frustrated, okay, and the police are reacting so strongly against this mild frustration, what you get is forces that build up and react to each other. This is not a one-way thing. They're creating these, it's like rocking a boat until it tips over. They're pushing back and forth.
Are you saying that, as Christina had just said earlier, that they didn't do anything, it was the police that kind of made them turn a bit violent? Do you, number one, agree with the tactic that they pushed on barricades and things?
I'm not pro-demonstration. Okay.
Why not?
Peaceful or quiet demonstrations are one thing, because to me societies are more delicate than people realize. I mean, there's certain types of robustness, but there's also delicacies there, and whenever you get in certain situations, you don't rock the boat, okay?
Oh, and the government is, really screwing with this really delicate society.
Yes, I know. And we're doing everything we can to get their attention. Now,
Okay.
I have nothing against other people demonstrating,
But I'm going to have to stop just for a moment. More of Newfoundland in just a moment. Please don't go away.